evening. I have received some of my final copies that I've ordered as author copies or proof copies from the different companies that I published my debut novel with, Will Never Land. And I wanted to share and compare and contrast the printing qualities with you guys so that if you're considering working with any of these companies, you can get a better idea of what you can kind of expect. So first things first, I do want to start off with, this was my debut novel. So I kind of knew I wanted to use it as kind of a guinea pig to try a bunch of these companies. So when you're looking at these and you're wondering, dear God, China, what are you doing? Why do you have gloss finish and matte finish and a hardcover and soft cover and all these things? It's because I was trying all the things out to see what I would want to do in the future with future books that aren't just the first book, you know? So with that being said, let's start with Ingramspark, my favorite company of them all. That's a poor attempt at sarcasm. Anybody who's watched this channel at all knows I have had endless problems with Ingramspark. I am not a fan. I'm especially not a fan when they are the only one of these three companies that charges to publish. And they charge almost $50. It's like $49, which to me is insane. And only recently did they get to where they actually provide you ISBNs for free. It used to be you had to like import them and purchase them elsewhere if you wanted to go through Ingramspark. Ugh. So this is kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back. I had said in past videos that I didn't think I was going to ever work with Ingramspark again, but now I know for a fact I will never work with Ingramspark again. This is the copy I got from Ingramspark. Looks totally fine, right? Like nothing, like the spine's on, like nothing goofy about it being like super off center, like whatever, it's fine. It's a matte finish. The matte finish, I will say the matte finish on Ingramspark is at least better than the matte finish on KDP. But that's like the only thing I would say in their favor, because it doesn't get super smudged super easily. Like the KDP ones, like you touch it and it comes off. But looks fine. It looks fine until you put it up next to one of the other ones. So look at that color difference. So this one's the Ingramspark one. And it's like gray in comparison to this one. It's supposed to be like this bright green. It's got lots of green, like lots and lots of green. But this is like gray in comparison. Like I wore this shirt on purpose so that I could use it as a reference so you could see the difference here. But look at that color difference. That sucks. So, and then I hadn't really looked at these things all that closely. I thought it looked fine until I put it next to this one. And then I also started noticing that you won't be able to see this like on the video. I'm going to do my best to show you. I don't know if you can tell, but the Barnes & Noble press copy, which is this copy, the brighter copy, the print, the lettering is more crisp. Like the Ingramspark one is not nearly as crisp, which I don't know if that's an effect of the matte finish. There are several factors that could affect that. But the Barnes & Noble one is also matte finish, so I don't think that's a very good excuse. So anyway, we're going to set this aside. Just one more disappointing thing from Ingramspark. If you have a particular reason that you want to go through Ingramspark because you need your books to be marked as returnable so that you can do book signings at Barnes & Noble, or other things, I hear that they have some good marketing options through them as well. Just keep some of these things in mind, that you may not end up with your book being the color that you had anticipated. It may be a little bit more toned down, so keep an eye out for that. And if you're doing the matte finish, I would suggest maybe trying a gloss finish. I am not going to try a gloss finish through them to check if this makes a difference, because I'm not paying another $50 to publish another book through them or deal with them ever again. But you may want to try doing a gloss finish to see if maybe your writing ends up nice and crisp through that, because I suspect that could be partially affected by this being a gloss or a matte finish book. So then we have the Barnes & Noble press copy, which, like I said, the colors are definitely more vibrant. My spine is in alignment, and if you're wondering why I keep bringing that up, it's because in the past I've had problems with companies sending me them where they're not in alignment and they're like slightly off to the side. So the fact that it is straight and everything is aligned is very good to me. I love their matte finish on their paperbacks. However, I do have to mention that I have had a consistent problem with their matte finish on their hardcover printed cases. This may be different for dust jacket ones if you're planning on doing one of those through them, but I did a matte finish hardcover copy, and I thought this was a fluke when I got my first order of these two, but I've gotten a second order since of the hardcovers, and honestly they were even worse. I can't even show this to you very well. I'm going to do my best to show you. Can you see that little tiny mark right there? And like that little weird glossy bit there? And like these funny little dots here? Well, those are like, you can't see it on the front because of the shading and stuff, but those are all over on the front, and they are all over on all my copies that I've gotten that are hardcovers. And it's not that like the matte finish is rubbing off. Like I can feel it. And those are like raised bumps. It's like little bits of glue from their printing press. So I don't know if they're not cleaning their printing press properly or what, or if that's a side effect of it being matte finish. I don't know if it would make a difference for to be gloss finish. That is definitely not a problem I encountered with their paperbacks. It might just have to do with the fact that it is a case and they have to use glue to basically paste the covers together, and that seems to be consistently getting on their hardback copies. Aside from that, their hardback copies are nice. I just think it might be better if it was a dust jacket. I just would have had to gone through extra steps with a cover designer to do a dust jacket versus a print one. Also, I have a little bit of a problem with dust jackets because I think they always end up getting like torn, like these little tears and stuff in them, and I hate that. So I have a thing against dust jackets, but that's something to consider with those. Last but not least, my favorite one, KDP! Yay! So, as I had mentioned, I was planning on kind of experimenting with all these different companies, seeing what they had to offer, seeing how their print qualities were, seeing how their interaction was, and how working with them worked. Sorry, I'm adjusting my focus because I noticed my color was like way off. And I will say that out of all three companies, my best experience has definitely been with KDP. I'm going to show these to you again as far as the colors are concerned. Woo, my like lighting is being all goofy. So this one again was Ingramspark, this one was Barnes & Noble Press, and this one was KDP. I want you to notice one more thing here. Aside from the fact that KDP definitely has the most vibrant color out of any of these, which could possibly have to do with it being a gloss finish, which makes it easier for them printing it. It definitely has the clearest writing, and all that, but these are the same number of pages. Does anybody else notice that the KDP one is thicker, even though it's the same number of pages? Yes, I think they use a better quality paper as well, and it's not as thin, so it is less prone to tearing and such. What is with my exposure on this? Oh my goodness, sorry, like I've only done this take like a million times, I'm not doing it again. But definitely KDP for the win so far. They have the most affordable prints, which is nice. They also have the most affordable print or shipping out of the other two companies that I've worked with. Their customer service is, it's okay. Barnes & Noble customer service is, okay, but they take a ton of time to get back to you. Ingramspark's, in my opinion, they're quick to get back to you, but they don't give a shit. And they don't understand what you're talking about. So KDP is definitely the company that I think I would continue to go with in the future. My only complaint being that they do not allow you to set up your paperback for pre-order in like super in advance, but they let you do your ebook for some reason. So that's a little bit annoying. I'm not wild about that. I also don't like that your Your proof copies come with this stupid little banner. I will continue to complain about this until they fix it. But yeah, definitely KDP for the win, in my opinion, on the print quality. Couple things I wanted to just kind of say at the end of this video. Quick shout out to Amy, who had a comment on my last video. She was one of my ARC readers, and she mentioned, because I had mentioned in my past video that this book is a adult dark fantasy retelling of Peter Pan. And I kind of elaborated that I feel uncomfortable even calling it a retelling, because it's more like a reverse retelling. I'm calling it a mirrored retelling because all the characters are basically opposite of the original, and situations are different, and time period is different, and all that jazz. So it's like, I hate when authors use the word "it's inspired by," because that usually means ripped off by, or ripped off from. But yeah, it's an adult dark fantasy mirrored retelling of Peter Pan, and she had left a comment saying, "I had a feeling it was a retelling. I'm glad I was right." And I was just so thrilled by that, because all this time I've been trying to be subtle about the fact that it's a retelling to some extent, and I didn't want it to be super obvious. So the fact that it wasn't super obvious to her, but she kind of suspected it, was exactly what I was going for, and that made me very happy. Also, I just wanted to say that for her benefit, as well as any of my other readers on this, in the future I may be doing some sort of giveaway or game. With the fact that it is a retelling, I have a bunch of Easter eggs in the book, so if you happen to catch those along the way, keep those in mind, remember them. We may be doing a giveaway in the near distant future, in regards to you knowing what those Easter eggs are and recognizing them, because I think that would be fun. Because how much more fun is reading a good story if it's also a game? Anyway, that's it. I also wanted to thank those who have so generously donated to my dog's GoFundMe account. In case you didn't see the one video where I explained what happened with this, almost 2 weeks ago we found out that our dog has oh my goodness. My dog has a partially torn ACL and may require surgery in the future. At this point, we are attempting to avoid that by getting him a leg brace, as well as getting him some swimming doggy like physical therapy, but those two things would add up to approximately about $350. So that's what we're aiming to get in this GoFundMe. We are at about $80 so far, so I just wanted to thank those who have participated in that. I'm going to have a link in the comments below in case anybody else is interested in helping us out with that. It would be appreciated. Or if you'd like to support me in another way, there will also be links on where you could purchase my debut novel, in case you were interested in that and that sounded like fun to you. In the meantime, I'm going to let you go before this video gets any longer. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for coming in, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Alrighty, bye-bye.